Hi, my name is Paul. I'm one of the pastors here at Southridge. And one of the things we experience as we are a vibrant, growing church is the ability and capacity with which we can care for one another. Now, we have pastors who love and care for our church family, but we recognize that there's a greater ongoing need that we can't possibly measure. God never intended the pastors to do all the caring. He intended the church to care for itself too. And so one of the things that we're excited about introducing you to is the Stephen Ministry. Stephen Ministry is an opportunity for us to equip and to train our own people to care for one another. Stephen Ministry is an opportunity not to be counselors, but to come and actually care for one another. And we do that through really effective training.
When you do the Stephen Ministry training, it's for 50 hours, but usually every week it's about 2.5 hours. And when you come to the class, we do a lot of role playing. Opportunity for you to meet in small groups and to practice. And you would have an observer say, well, maybe this is a better way of doing it. You don't have somebody lecturing you through. All they're doing is guiding you. So we talk about caregivers and care receivers. I was a caregiver, learning how to share with other people that were going through difficult times in their life, such as a divorce, such as losing a job, and people who have lost a spouse. And that was one of the biggest challenges I dealt with. Stephen Ministry provides 50 hours of training. We start with, who are you? And how can you help people? You have the initial training, and then you continue to have people that are there to share with you. You have the leaders that have been teaching the course, but also be walking with you and sharing their ideas. We never share the person's name that we're being a caregiver to. It's all confidential. And so that provides a sense of relief for them that they can share whatever they need to share.
My wife passed away 3 years ago after 42 years of marriage. Has been helped through the process, through the Stephen Ministry of grieving for her. Obviously there is that sense of loss. The main thing initially was a worry about forgetting her, because I know what memory is like. You know, people will say to you that you remember her always, but you don't remember a lot of the detail. But the other, and I think the most significant one at that time, was I didn't have people to talk to about her. Friends and relatives, by and large, were reluctant to do that. So obviously some of them were going through a grieving process themselves, and others just didn't want to upset me. And I appreciated that, you know, but at the same time, I needed to talk about her. It was my way of honoring her, remembering her.
One of the big things that we learned was how to listen, because so often people start helping others and they don't listen. They don't hear what the need is. We train on sensing where that person is coming from and how can we walk with them. I like describing Stephen ministers as people walk and talk. Men deal with men, women deal with women, and men can talk better when they're not looking at the other person, if they're walking alongside them. And so we walked and we talked, and boy, we cried a lot.
My Stephen minister didn't know Jean or myself overly well. We'd met a few times at church and so on. He said, I don't really know her very well. Tell me about her. And so we engaged in the process of getting to know Jean through my talking about her. It was a wonderful way to do, because it was very natural. We cried a fair amount together. And that was, I think, good, certainly for me, and very necessary in a lot of instances.
If you want to be a Stephen minister who will walk with people and care for people, and you feel God's calling you and leading this way, look at it. It is a tremendous program. I would recommend it highly for you.
It's a very supportive kind of process. I think it's a wonderful program, if you like, for helping people. In my own case, because I was, in a sense, a reluctant participant, or I thought I might be, I think those people can get a lot more value out of it than they might think. So I would highly recommend it.
So I would encourage you, as we think through this coming year, maybe in January to April, you have time to join us in this training program so that you can become a Stephen Ministry caregiver, so that we can then begin to care for our church family one life at a time. We believe that people can help one another as we just walk with them through that journey. And so we're excited about what God's got for us in store as we begin this Stephen ministry journey together. The next step that we have as we journey through this is to see if that's something that you would love to be a part of. So if you're watching this and maybe you still feel the tug from God to be a part of this, we'd encourage you to sign up, and then we'll be able to follow up with you so that the next step for you would be to be a part of that in January. So thanks for considering this. Thanks for praying about it. We look forward to what God has in store for us as a church family as we learn to care for one another as we continue to grow and become the church that God intends us to be, one life at a time.